In DC circuits, this is called low voltage Vs and a resistor. If resistor is connected in parallel, in voltage source, one resistor is connected in parallel. That means the voltage across the resistor is nothing but Vs. So what is the voltage across the resistor? Same Vs, because of that is connected in parallel, exactly parallel to this device resistor. That's why whatever the voltage here, source voltage, complete voltage appear across this. Okay. So for example, here 20 volts means here across the parallel resistor, 20 volts appear. 30 volts here also 30 volts. So that's why, so we have to represent it across this voltage across the resistor is nothing but Vs only. Understood? And then current source. The current source is the resistor in series. The current is not dividing across the resistor. Okay. Current is not dividing across the resistor because of it is connected in series. It is connected in series. It's not in parallel. Understood? It's connected in series. That is current. Because of that, current is not dividing. It's clear. Only parallel resistors, the current is dividing. In series, voltage is dividing. Here, voltage is dividing. If we are one more resistor is connected here, voltage is dividing, but current is same. In series circuit, current is same. So that's why. So we have to represent it like this manner. Okay, single current source IS. So voltage across the parallel branches is same, and current flowing to the series branches is same. Okay, so voltage dividing in series branches, current dividing in parallel branches. Try to understand. If it is current resistors are connected in two more resistors are connected in parallel, the current is dividing. It's clear. If the resistors are connected in series, the voltage is dividing. It's clear. And there are three different type of elements in electrical circuits element. Okay, electrical circuits elements. There are three different type of elements. So based on that entire circuit analysis can be explained. First one is resistor, then second one is inductor, and the third one capacitor. Okay, first resistor, inductor, and capacitor. Based on three elements, the entire circuit analysis. So we have to discuss based on three elements only. By using three elements only, so we have to design different type of concept. First resistor. A resistor is the element which opposes the flow of current. Am I right? This is the symbol indication of the resistor. So every wire or any conductor is having some internal resistance. Okay, conductor is having some resistance. No? Okay, is having on the length also. Okay, so having some length and cross sectional area A. Every resistor, every conductor is having some resistance and length and cross sectional area. Okay, resistance is a property of material which opposes the flow of current. It is measured in ohms. Understand? It is measured in ohms. Resistance is a property of the material which opposes the flow of current. It is measured in resistance. You know, resistance in ohms. Units of the resistance is ohms. The value of resistance of a conductor is proportional to its length. Resistance is proportional to length and inversely proportional to the cross section, area of cross section. Okay, A proportional to the length, L inversely proportional to the cross section, area of cross section, that is called A, and it depends on nature of material. Okay, nature of material, that may be copper, aluminum, silver, gold, depending on material, type of material also depends on temperature of the conductor. Okay, temperature is proportional to the resistance. The resistance is temperature increases, resistance may be increasing. Okay, depends on material. Temperature depends on temperature of the conductor. Okay, that's why. So we have to indicate. So finally, R is equal to R is proportional to L. That is called L, and inversely proportional to cross sectional area. That is called 1 by A. Inversely proportional to area. So that's called A, and then R is equal to rho L by A. You know well, resistance is equal to rho L by A. So rho is nothing but specific resistance of the material conductor. Specific resistance of the conductor. R is equal to rho L by A. It's clear. So this is about a resistor. So resistor units are ohms. And then coming to the inductor. An inductor is an element which stores energy in the form of electromagnetic field. Inductors store the energy in the form of electromagnetic field. So remember, this is very, very important. How the inductor store the energy in the form of electromagnetic field. Okay. Energy stored in inductor is nothing but electromagnetic field. In capacitor, electrostatic field. Okay. In the form of charge. Energy stored in capacitor, static field. Energy stored in inductor is called magnetic field. Energy stored in inductor is called magnetic field, and energy stored in capacitor is called static field. So the property of the coil of inducing EMF due to changing flux linked with it is own as inductance of the coil. That is called self-inductance. Okay, the property of the coil of inducing EMF due to the changing flux in with it in zone as inductance of the coil. So if the current is passing through the coil, okay, the flux is developed in this coil, and then because of that flux changes, the EMF induced this coil. That is called self-induced EMF. Okay. So inductance is denoted by L, and units are Henry. Inductance is denoted by L, and it is measured in Henry. Resistance in ohm, inductance is Henry. So the value of inductance of the coil is directly proportional to the square of number of turns. Inductance is proportional to the, so according to this formula, so inductance L is proportional to the square of the number of turns. Okay, n square, number of turns is nothing but n square, and directly proportional to the area of cross section. So this is called the area of cross section. Inductance of the coil is directly proportional to the area of cross section. That is called A. Understood? And inversely proportional to the length. So this L is called length. Based on this formula, you can easily understand how the inductance is changing. Okay, the inductance is proportional to the number of turns square, n square, and also inductance is proportional to the area of cross section. Okay, and inductance is inversely proportional to the length. It depends upon absolute permeability of the magnetic material. So mu naught to mu r is called permeability. Okay, mu r is called relative permeability. So this flux is whenever the current changes in inductor. Okay, whenever the current is flowing in the inductor, the flux developed. That is called flux. Pi. This is denoted by pi. So flux. So phi is equal to force by reluctance. Force per reluctance. Induced EMF. The MMF force due to current. That is called MMF, magnetic motive force. This is called force, electromagnetic motive force, MMF by reluctance. Same as in electrical point of view, current I is equal to V by R. I is equal to V by R. So V is nothing but just like a force. Voltage is nothing but force. So R is nothing but in a magnetic point of view, reluctance. Reluctance is nothing but same as resistance here, magnetic point of view. Reluctance, resistance is nothing but reluctance. Okay, flux pi is equal to F by reluctance, and MMF is nothing but N into I. Total number of turns into current is called MMF by S called reluctance. The reluctance formula, so L did by mu naught into mu R by A. Reluctance is proportional to length and inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area. So L by mu naught into mu R to A, Ni divided by L by mu naught into mu R. So by simplifying, you will get. And inductance formula L is equal to N into pi divided by I. By substituting, so flux pi here, so we'll get the like this. This is the expression, so we are getting like this. Okay. L is equal to N into pi into N into pi divided by I. Inductance L is equal to N number of turns into flux by current is called inductance. And by substituting the flux here, so we'll get N square into mu naught into mu R A divided by L. So based on that formula, so inductance is proportional to the number of turns square and proportional to the cross-sectional area and inversely proportional to the length. Okay, here L is called inductance of the coil, N is called number of turns of the coil, and flux. Pi is called flux link in the coil, and F is called magneto-motive force, MMF. F is called magneto-motive force. MMF is nothing but N into A, number of turns into current is called MMF. Okay, I is called current in the coil, and L is called mean length of the coil. Mu naught is called permeability of free space. Mu r is called relative permeability of the magnetic material. A is called cross-sectional area of the magnetic material. Okay, so this is about inductor, and then coming to the capacitor. Capacitor is an element which store the energy in the form of charge. Inductor store the energy in the form of electromagnetic field. And the inductor store the energy in the form of magnetic field, and capacitor store the energy in the form of electrostatic field, that is called charge. Understand? Capacitor store the energy in the form of electrostatic field. Inductor store the energy in the form of magnetic field. Okay. Capacitor is an element and is stored in the form of electrostatic field, that is called charge. Capacitance is the capacity of capacitors to store electric charge. It is denoted by C and is measured in farads. Inductance measured in Henry. Resistance is measured in resistance, ohms. Okay, capacitance in farad. Okay, the value of capacitance is directly proportional to the area of the plate. So by using this formula, you can easily understand. Capacitance is proportional to the directly proportional to the area. Directly proportional to the area of the plate. Directly proportional to the area of the plate. Capacitance is directly proportional to the area of the plate. And inversely proportional to the distance between two plates. These are the two different type of plates of capacitor. And inversely proportional to the distance between the two plates. The distance between the two plates is nothing but D. Directly proportional to the area of plates, that is called A, and inversely proportional to the distance between the two plates, that is called D. So epsilon is called proportional constant, and then C is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon to A divided by D. This depends on absolute permeability of medium between the plates. Okay, so in between two plates, one dielectric material used. So this dielectric material permittivity is nothing but epsilon. Okay, in between two plates, so dielectric material is used. That dielectric material permittivity is nothing but epsilon. C is equal to epsilon to A divided by D. So epsilon is nothing but epsilon naught into epsilon r into A divided by D. Here, C is called capacitance of the capacitor. C is denoted by capacitance of the capacitor. A is called cross-sectional area of the plates. A is known as cross-sectional area of the plates. These two plates, cross-sectional area of these two plates. Okay, and D is called distance between the two plates. Epsilon is called absolute permeability, permittivity, absolute permittivity, epsilon, and then epsilon naught is called permittivity of the free space, and epsilon naught is called relative permittivity of the dielectric material. Okay, this is about capacitance, capacitor, understood, resistor, and inductor, and capacitors. This is the concept related to the resistor, inductor, and capacitors. And then coming to the Ohm's law. Ohm's law and its limitations. So we have to discuss first. So Ohm's law, in current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied to the conductor, and provided that no change in temperature. So this is called Ohm's law definitions. So the current is proportional to the potential difference between the 2 points, and also at constant temperature. Okay, the Ohm's law is valid at constant temperature. Current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied to the conductor. That means potential difference between 2 points is proportional to the current. The current is proportional to the potential difference between 2 points. So for example, one side 12 volts, another side 7 volts. Okay, the current is proportional to the potential difference between two voltages. 12 minus 7, that is called 5. Okay, so 12 volts magnitude is high, that's why the current is from high potential to low potential. The current is passing from high potential to low potential. Understood? So that current is proportional to the potential difference between 2 points and also at constant temperature. This is called Ohm's law. Okay, so this voltage and current relations like this. Changing current with respect to change in voltage for a conducting material. So like this. So linearly increasing. Okay, linearly increasing. Voltage and currents are linearly increasing. That is why current voltage is proportional to the current. V is proportional to the current at constant temperature only. Okay, then V is equal to I into R, proportional constant, that is called resistance, where R is called constant, which is called resistance of the conductor. Then R is equal to V by I. So these are the characteristics and Ohm's law definitions and limitations of Ohm's law. Limitations of Ohm's law. So it cannot be applied to a non-linear device. Example, diode, GINA diode, transistor, BJT, IGBT. So whatever. Electronic devices. The Ohm's law is not applicable for electronic devices. That is called diode, GINA diode, BJT, transistor, MOSFET. Okay, different types of electronic devices. So this Ohm's law is not valid for those devices. It cannot be applied to non-metallic conductors. Example, graphite conducting polymers. Non-metallic conductors is not valid for not metallic conductors. Okay, in non-metallic conductors, this voltage is not proportional to the current. Okay, voltage is not proportional to the current for non-metallic conductors. So that's called graphite and conducting polymers. So this is the limitations of Ohm's law, and also not applicable for at different temperatures. It can only apply in a constant temperature condition. Ohm's law is valid only under constant temperature conditions, not valid for different type of current temperatures. When temperature changes, resistance of the material conductor changes. Thus, at that case, the voltage is not proportional to the current. Okay, so that is Ohm's law. And then coming to the KCL and KVL, Kirchhoff current law and Kirchhoff voltage law. Kirchhoff current law, KCL, and Kirchhoff voltage. So these are the two laws, are basics of your for the BW. So for electrical circuits, these are the two important concept basics: Kirchhoff current law and Kirchhoff voltage. By using this, we have to solve the different type of problems. Current flowing through the different type of elements. Okay, voltage across the different type of source elements, across the resistor, across the inductor. We have to find voltage across the different type of branches, voltage across the nodes, and the current flowing to the branches can be found by using these two laws, KCL and KVL. Statement. So Kirchhoff current law, algebraic sum of all current meeting at junction is equal to 0. Kirchhoff current law, algebraic sum of all current meeting at a junction is 0. Okay, that is called Kirchhoff current. So try to consider here. So branches are meeting at a junction J. This is called junction. This is one of the simple circuit. Okay, so this is called voltage sources E1, E2. These are the two different type of voltage sources, and the resistance R1 and R2. These are the two different and different types of resistance of the circuits. So okay, so branches are meeting at a junction J. Branches are meeting at a junction J. So this is called junction or node. Okay, this is also called as a node or junction. And incoming current are denoted by positive sign, and outgoing currents are denoted by negative sign. Okay, incoming currents are denoted by positive sign, and outgoing currents are denoted by negative sign. Okay, so algebraic sum of all currents meeting at a junction is 0. That's why algebraic sum of all currents, that is called sigma I is equal to 0. And then here, so incoming current sign is nothing but plus, no? That's a plus I1. And incoming current, only incoming current is only I1 here. Only incoming current is here I1. So that's why plus I1. And the leaving currents are denoted by minus I2 and minus I3. Entering current is I1. Magnitude is So sign is positive. So this is not fixed. So let us assume like this. So we are assume so like this. If incoming current is denoted by positive sign, outgoing currents are denoted by negative sign. You have to assign in different way. Incoming currents are denoted by negative sign, or outgoing terminals are denoted by positive, as your wish. But I'm assuming here incoming currents are denoted by positive sign and outgoing currents are denoted by negative sign. So I1 is entering, that's why plus I1. I2 is leaving, that's why minus I2, and I3 is also leaving, minus I3. Then I1 minus I2 minus I3 is equal to 0. Then I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. That means the incoming current is equal to leaving currents at junction, at node. This is also called node or junction. Incoming current is called I1 and outgoing current is called I2 and I3. This I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. This is called Kirchhoff current law. According to the Kirchhoff current law, so that is incoming current is equal to outgoing current. Incoming current I1, outgoing currents are I2 and I3. So this is what Kirchhoff current law. And then Kirchhoff voltage law. Coming to the Kirchhoff voltage law. Statement, algebraic sum of all voltage drops and all EMF source in any closed path is 0. Okay. Algebraic sum of all voltage drops and all EMF sources in any closed path is 0. It's clear. Algebraic sum of all voltage drops and EMF source in any closed path is equal to 0. This is about KVL, Kirchhoff voltage law. Let's suppose loop current in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. This is called loop current. For example, loop current in clockwise or anti-clockwise. So this is called one loop. This is called another loop. This is called node. This is called denoted by node. Okay. This is called one loop and this is called another loop. These are loops. Okay. The loop current is so like this. Otherwise, clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay. Clockwise or anti-clockwise. Loop current. Loop current and branch currents are different. This is called branch current. I1 is called current flowing through this branch. Okay. Current flowing through the is called a branch current. And this is called branch current. And this is also called as branch current. Okay. This is called branch currents. And so one current is flowing in this loop. That is called loop currents. Okay. So loop current in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. The current in the circuit, current and loop currents are in same direction. Then voltage drop is denoted by negative sign. Okay, loop current and branch current. Circuit current and loop current. That is called branch current and loop currents are in same direction. Okay. So at that case, the voltage drop is denoted by negative sign. Current, circuit current and loop currents are in opposite direction. Then voltage drop is denoted by positive sign. Okay. It's not fixed. It's changing. So we are assuming like this. If you want to assume like this, also it's possible. Circuit current and loop currents are same direction. Then voltage drop is denoted by, as you is. If you want positive sign, take it positive sign. But your assumed is positive sign means your compulsory is negative sign. Circuit current and loop currents are in opposite direction. Then voltage drop is denoted by negative sign. Otherwise, okay, two ways is possible. These not notations are not fixed. We want to assume positive sign. Here negative sign is valid. Okay, one must be one sign, another must be different sign. Okay, loop current move through positive to negative. Terminal of source, then direction of EMF is negative. So this is called loop current, and when enters positive and negative, so in that case it will be denoted by minus C1. So if this current is enters like this, is denoted by plus C1. Okay, if the current is entered at positive terminal, this is called branch current, and this is called loop current. Okay, this is called loop current. So in this loop, one current is flowing, that is called loop current. So that loop currents So this is called loop. So here maybe. So this is a loop. Is also another loop. These are called there is loop currents. Understand? This is called branch currents. This is called branch current. This is called loop currents. Here, the loop current in this direction enter as positive. Okay, and branch current is also same. Branch current and loop currents are intersect same. So the sign is nothing but minus. Voltage drop here, V is equal to minus I into R. Otherwise, voltage drop V is equal to plus I into R. Here, V is equal to minus I into R. Two ways is possible. Okay. If you are, this is called assumptions only. These are our assumptions. The voltage across this resistor, voltage drop across the resistor is nothing but if the loop current and branch currents are both are same direction. Okay. So V is equal to minus I into R or V is equal to plus into I into R. Okay. These are assumptions only. So if it is a here, assume the loop branch current, this is called branch current, this is called loop current. Both are in the same direction. So here assumed minus I into R. That's why another direction is nothing but opposite plus I into R. If you are assumed plus I into R, this is nothing but minus I into R. Assumptions. Okay. So if the current enters at loop current is entered as positive terminal, so E is equal to minus E1, EMF voltage drop. So indicated by minus EN, E1. So if it is like this, enters at negative, so indicated by E1. Otherwise, if it is positive E1, here indicate minus E1. So these are assumptions only. Okay. So the sum of the voltage drops are in a circuit is equal to 0. No? Sum of the voltage drops, sum of all algebraic sum of all voltage drops, all EMF sources any closed path is equal to 0. Okay. So that's why sigma into I into R, that is called voltage drop across the resistor, and sum of the voltages, source voltages is equal to 0. Okay. So here minus I into I1 into R1 minus I1 into R2. Here, this is called, for example, this is called loop current. Here I1 is entering like this manner. Okay. This is called I1 to R2. This, what is the voltage drop here? I1 into R2. No? What is the voltage across the resistor? What is the current here? I1. That's nothing but I1 into R2. The loop current and this branch currents are both are same, opposite same sign. So you are taken minus I1 into R2. And then I2 into R3. So I2 into, so what is the loop voltage drop across these? What is the current flowing here? I2. And what is the resistance here? R3. Then what is the voltage drop here? I2 into R3. Na? Okay, this loop current and this branch current are same sign. That's why minus I2 into R3. So indicated like this, minus I2 into R3. Okay. And here indicated is coming to the this loop current and branch current. This is called loop current. Loop current. Circuit current. So it is in this direction, and also this current is also in this direction. So that's why, what is the polarity here? When two sources are here entering like this, and so what is the voltage drop here? This loop current and the source is entering at positive. That's why minus E1. Okay. So that's why minus E2. Here entering current is called at positive terminal. That's why minus E2. So according to this notation, current intersect battery positive terminal. That's why minus E1. So that's why here minus E2. The current intersect in branch I2 is like this. That's why minus E2. And then coming to here, what is the current direction here? So I1 upward direction. So in this direction. Okay. And here, this is called loop current or circuit current. So in this direction, and also branch current I1. In series, current is same. Here, what is the current here? This current is I1. Here I1 also. Here I1 also. Here I1 also. Okay. In current series, current is constant. So what is the current here? I1, I1, I1. But here, then parallel only the current is dividing. Okay. So this loop current and the branch currents are both are same sign. That's why minus I1 into R1. That's I1 into R1. And then current, this current I1, this current I1. Okay, intersect battery negative terminal. That's why minus, and that's why plus. So we are taken as an assumption positive. Assumption is nothing when current is intersect negative terminals of the battery, that is called denoted by plus E1. That's why plus E1 in the circuit. So that's why current intersect negative terminal. This current I1, so intersect negative terminal of the battery. That's why it is indicated by plus I1. Okay, so this loop is completed. In this loop, R2, R3, E2, and R1, E1. These are the different type of elements. Okay, here the current intersect. So this called loop current. This called loop current, and branch currents are same. That's minus I1 into R2 minus I2 into R3. Okay, minus E2, and then minus I1 into R1 plus E1 is equal to 0. Okay, so this is called sum of the voltage drops in a closed loop is equal to 0. Algebraic sum of all voltage drops are 0. KVL to loop another loop. So this from this loop. So what are the elements here? R4, R5, E2, R3. Honest. R4, R5, and E2, and R3. What is the loop current here? For example, let us assume this is called circuit current or loop current. Okay. Honest. Let us assume this is called circuit current or loop current. So here current intersect current direction and this current direction, loop current direction, both are same. That's why minus I3 into R4. Okay. And our current direction, this circuit current direction and this current direction are same sign. That's why minus I3 into R5. Understand? Minus I3 into R4 minus I3 into R5 and intersect negative terminal. Okay. So if the current intersect negative terminal, what is the indication? Plus E1. Okay. So that's why plus E2. And then our circuit current in this direction. What is the branch current? Downward direction. That's why plus I3, I2 into R3. It's clear. So try to consider here. Minus I3 into R4. Minus I3 into R4. Our loop current direction and this branch current direction both are same. Minus I3 into R4. If the two current directions are same, so what is the voltage drop? Minus, no? That's why minus I3 into R4. Here minus I3 into R4. And then here coming here. So this loop current and this called branch current both are same. That's why minus this current is same here. Since series circuit current is same. So what is the current here? I3. And also here also I3. Current is not dividing in series circuit. That's why I3 into R5. I3 into R4 minus I3 into R4 minus I3 into R5. And then intersect battery negative terminal. Intersect battery at negative terminal. That's why plus E1 means here plus E2. So we'll get plus E2. Minus I3 into R4 minus I3 into R5 is over and plus intersect plus E2. No? So this our circuit current or loop current is intersect negative. That's why indicated plus E2. And then I2 into R3. So here I2, the current is the downward direction. Okay. And our loop current or circuit current, so upward direction. So this is called loop current. Am I right? Clockwise direction. So let us assume it in the clockwise direction. Okay. So our current direction, this is called loop circuit current direction in this direction. But this branch current direction, opposite direction. Okay. This loop current and branch currents are opposite direction. That's why So what is the voltage drop here? I2 into R3, that is called plus I2 into R3. So we'll get plus I2 into R3 is equal to 0. So like this, sum of the voltage drops in A, algebraic sum of all voltage drops in and all EMF source in any closed path is equal to 0 according to the KVL. Unless KCL and KVL. These are the two basics laws. And then series and parallel combinations of resistors. Then coming to the another concept, series and parallel combinations of resistors. Series combination of resistors and parallel combination of resistors. If the two resistors are connected in series, so R1 and R2. If the two resistors are connected in parallel, R1 and R2. The two resistors are connected in series, and so what is the current equivalent resistance and what is the current and what is the voltage drops? If the two resistors are connected in parallel, then how the voltage is changing, how the current is changing. So we have to discuss. The two resistors are connected in a series combination of resistors and a parallel combination of resistors. Okay, this is called series combination of resistors and this is called parallel combination of resistors. The voltage source, the current is called source current I. Okay, this is called source current I. This is called source voltage V, and this is called resistor R1 and R2 are connected in series. And the voltage drop across the resistor is called V1, and voltage drop across the resistor R2 is called V2. It's clear. Voltage drop across the resistor R1 is called V1, and voltage drop across the resistor R2 is nothing but V2. Okay, and here current I1 enters at like this manner. So current enters at resistor I1 is nothing but I1, and current enters at resistor I2, R2 is nothing but I2. Current enters at R1, resistor R1 is nothing but I1. Current enters at resistor R2 is nothing but I2. And then voltage drop across the resistor R1 is nothing but V1. Voltage drop across the resistor R2 is nothing but V2. So assumed like this. Then what is the current in a series circuit? Same, no? Current is not dividing in a series circuit. R1 and R2 are these two are connected in series. That's why whatever the current flowing to the resistor R1 is same as current flowing to the resistor R2. That's why source current is equal to the current flowing to the resistor R1 and current flowing to the resistor R2. That's why I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I. This current is not dividing in series circuit. I is equal to I1 is equal to I2. So both are same. All currents are same in the series circuit. And then voltage is dividing. In series, voltage divides current same. In parallel, current divides voltage same. Okay. So here V1 and V2. So this voltage is nothing but voltage across this resistor and voltage across this resistor. Okay. So this voltage is nothing but the voltage drop across the resistor R1 and voltage drop across the R2. Then V is equal to V1 plus V2. V is equal to V1 plus V2. And then V1 is equal to what is the current here? I1 into R1. What is the current here? I2 into R2. Okay. Then I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I. So current is same. That's why I into R1 and I into R2. V is equal to I into R1 and I into R2. Then take common I and then R1 plus R2. Then V by I is called R1 plus R2. V by I. That is called source voltage by source current is called equivalence resistance, total resistance of the circuit. R equivalent resistance is nothing but total volt. Source voltage by source current is called total resistance. That is called R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2. Okay. Series combination of resistors, the equivalence resistance in series combination R1 plus R2. In parallel, R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. Okay. This is the equivalence resistance in series and parallel combinations. Okay. For n resistors are connected in series, if n resistors are connected in series, current is same, but voltage is dividing. V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6 like this. Voltage divides, but current is same. Okay. What is the current here? Same. I1, I2, I3, for all are current same as source current. Then R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2, R plus R, so on Rn. This is called equivalence resistance. Series combination of resistance. Then parallel combination. In parallel combinations, what is the voltage drop here? V1. And what is the voltage drop here? V2. Okay. What is the voltage drop here? V1 across the resistor R1. What is the voltage drop? V1. And across the resistor R2. What is the voltage drop? V2. these two resistors are connected in parallel, and also this voltage source also connected parallel to this R1 and R2. It's clear. The voltage source V is also connected in parallel with V1 and V2. That is called R1 and R2. Okay, these are the two different types of loads. For example, this is one tubelet and this is another tubelet. These are the two tubelets are connected in parallel across the source. Across the source, these two are connected in parallel. That means whatever the voltage here, same voltage appear across this resistor. That means across this tubelet and this across the tubelet also, same voltage appear across this. Okay, the voltage is same in across these two tubelets or two resistors. Okay, so R1 and R2, so V1 and V2. The current source current is called I and is dividing at junction J, that is called node, and is dividing into I1 and I2. Okay, the source current is dividing in parallel circuit, but in series current is same, voltage is dividing, but in parallel voltage same, current is dividing. The current enters at this junction is equal to this current and this current. I is equal to I1 plus I2. Okay, addition of these two currents is called this current. Okay, that means current is dividing in parallel circuit. So here I1 and here I2. So R1 and R2. Understood? So voltage same in parallel circuit, but current is dividing. So that's why V is equal to V1 is equal to V2. Okay, V is equal to V1 is equal to V2. So in parallel circuit. And then current I is dividing in two branches. Because of two branches are connected in parallel, the current is dividing like this. I is equal to I1 plus I2. Then I1 is equal to V1 divided by R1. What is the voltage here drop here? V1. Okay, V1 divided by R1. Then V1 is equal to V. So V divided by R1. And here also V divided by R2. I is equal to V divided by R1 plus V divided by R2. Then I is equal to V into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Then I by V is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So 1 by R equivalent is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. For n resistors are connected in parallel, then what is the equivalence resistance? 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, so on like this. Here, what is the equivalence resistance? R1 plus R2 plus so on Rn. Here, what is the equivalence resistance? 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. So like this. So equivalence resistance is changing. Okay. So this is the equivalence resistance in series and parallel combination. So here the value of equivalent resistance in series circuit bigger than the biggest value of individual resistances of circuit. The value of the equivalent resistance of series circuit is bigger than the biggest value of the individual resistance of the circuit. The equivalence resistances must be more than that of this R1 or R2. Okay, from this statement, you can easily, so what is this? What is the equivalence resistance? Is nothing but R1 plus R2 is greater than R equivalent is greater than R1 plus R2. R1, R equivalent is greater than R1, or otherwise R equivalent is greater than R2. Okay, the value of the equivalence resistance, that is called R equivalent of series circuit, is bigger than biggest value of the individual resistance of the circuit. For example, 2 ohm resistor, 4 ohm resistor. Okay, so what is the equivalence resistance? 2 and 4 connected in series. Then what is the equivalence resistance? 6. Na? So that 6 ohm resistor is greater than that of the 4 ohm resistors. Okay, and by using this statement, you can understand that. And then here, value of equivalent resistance of parallel circuit is smaller than the smallest value of individual resistance of the circuit. Okay, so this R equivalent is the resistance is less than that of the R1 or R2. Okay, which is less. For example, R1 is less than R2, so then R equivalent is less than R1. But here, if it is R1 is greater than R2, then R equivalent is greater than R1. Okay, by using this statement. Okay, like this, a series and parallel combination of the resistors. And then that is called then voltage divider rule and current divider rule. Voltage dividing rule and current dividing rule. Try to concentrate on voltage dividing rule and current divider. So series voltage divides, in parallel current dividing. We already know. Okay, in series circuit, voltage divides. In parallel circuit, current divides. It's clear. The current I is dividing to I1 and I2. That but voltage same. Here what is the voltage V? Here voltage V2. Here voltage V1. That means V1 is equal to V2 is equal to V. The voltage is same. Okay, current is dividing. That's why. So we have to apply here current divider rule. So in this voltage divider rule, we have to apply here voltage divider rule. Because of in series, voltage dividing, current is same. So what is the current I? The same current I1 and I1. I1 I is equal to I1 is equal to I2. Current is not dividing. Okay, voltage is dividing. So that's why we have to apply in series circuit voltage divider rule. We have to apply current divider rule in parallel circuit. Okay, as per KVL, Kirchhoff voltage law. So this voltage is nothing but so addition of these two voltages. V is equal to V1 plus V2. V is equal to V1 plus V2. This source voltage is equal to sum of these two voltages. V is equal to V1 plus V2. And then, so what is the voltage drop here? I1 into R1. What is the voltage drop here? I2 into R2. Okay, then I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I now. So that's why V is equal to I into R1 plus I into R2. Then V is equal to I into R1 plus R2. Okay, then what is the current? I is equal to V divided by R1 plus R2. Understand? So V1 is equal to I1 into R1. So V1 is equal to I1 into R1. Substitute I1 is equal to in this equation. This I1 is equal to V divided by R1 plus R2. Substitute in this. And then R1 divided by R1 plus R2. V1 is equal to V into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So this is the expression for voltage. So V is equal to V1 is equal to voltage drop across the resistor R1 is nothing but V into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Voltage drop across the resistor R2, that is VT is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Understand? So V1 is equal to voltage drop across the resistor V1 is nothing but total voltage into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. V1 is equal to total voltage into, that is called source voltage into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Source voltage V1 is equal to source voltage into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Understand? And then V2 voltage across the resistor V2 is nothing but source voltage into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Source voltage into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Okay, right, understand. So what is the voltage drop here? V1 is equal to, what is the voltage drop? V1 is equal to source voltage into V into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Okay, so if you are finding the voltage across the resistor R1, then starting numerator is nothing but R1 only. If you want to find the voltage across the resistor R2, what is the numerator? R2 only. But denominator, addition of these two. Okay. So if we are finding if you are finding the voltage drop across the resistor R1, okay, that is numerator is nothing but R1. Denominator, addition of these two. Similarly, if we want to find the voltage drop across the R2, so what is the numerator? R2 divided by R1 plus R2, addition of these two, addition of two resistors into total voltage. So this is the voltage division. Okay, so what is the voltage V1 here? V1 is equal to V into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. VT is equal to total voltage into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. If you want to find the voltage across the V2, that numerator is nothing but R2. If you want to find the voltage across the resistor R1, that is numerator is nothing but R1. Denominator is both are same, R1 plus R2 here. Denominator for V1, R1 plus R2. For V2, denominator is also same, R1 plus R2. Numerator is nothing but here R1 and the numerator here nothing but R2. Okay, this is called voltage division rule, and then current division rule. So in current division rule, voltages are same. Here, what is the voltage V1? What is the voltage V2? And what is the voltage source? These are all connected in parallel. That's why V1 is equal to V2 is equal to V. And then what is the current I is equal to I1 plus I2? I1 plus I2. Then I is equal to V1 divided by R1. So what is the current here? V1 divided by R1 is nothing but current. What is the voltage drop across this resistor? V1 by R1 is nothing but the current. V1 by R1 is the same as I1. Okay. I1 is equal to V1 by R1. What is the current I2 here? V2 divided by R2. Okay. So voltage drop across the resistor is known. Then voltage drop by resistor is nothing but current. I2 is equal to V2 divided by R2. Then V1 is equal to V2 is equal to V. So V divided by R1. and V divided by R2. Then I is equal to V into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Then I by V is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Then V is equal to I into R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So we'll get like this. Then finally, so I1 is equal to V1 divided by R1. Substitute in this equation, we will get like this. Substitute V1 in this equation, we will get like this. Final expression is nothing but this is the final expression. I1 is equal to I1 is equal to I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. This is the final expression, current I1. And then for I2, total current into resistance R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Understood? For current I2, so we'll get like this. Total current into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. For current I1, total current into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So this is the current division rule. Try to consider here. What is the current here? I1. Then the current I1 is nothing but total current into. So what is the opposite resistor? Opposite resistor is nothing but R2. No? Okay. The current is dividing in this resistor. That's why it is called opposite resistor of opposite resistor for compared to for viewpoint of I1. For viewpoint of I1, so what is the opposite resistor? What is the opposite current? I2. Okay. Viewpoint of R1, what is the opposite resistor? Is nothing but R2. Why? Because the current is dividing into I1 and I2. Okay, the same current is this current is dividing into I1 and I2. That's why this resistor is called opposite of this resistor R1. And then, so how to find the current I1 is nothing but by using current division rule. What is the current here? Current I1 is equal to total current into opposite resistor, that is called R2 by R1 plus R2. I1 is equal to total current into opposite resistor R2. Na? If you want to find the current in this branch here I1, that current I1 is nothing but the current into opposite resistor, that is called R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Okay, that is called I1. And then find how to find I2. How to find I2? This total current into, okay, this total current I2 is nothing but this total current into what is the opposite resistor here? R1 by R1 plus R2. That is called I2. Okay, exactly opposite of this voltage division rule. If you want to find the voltage drop across the V1, so numerator is called R1 only. Okay, in voltage division rule. So if you want to find the voltage drop across the V1, R1, so the numerator is nothing but R1. But here, if you want to find the current flowing through the R1 branch, okay, the numerator is nothing but opposite one. That is called R2. For I1, R2, the numerator is called R2. For current division, the numerator is nothing but R2. Here for this I2, no? That's why the numerator is nothing but R1, opposite one. Okay, is exactly opposite to the voltage source and current source. Okay, this for voltage division rule and current division rule. Okay.